90 seconds. That is the exact amount of time the FAA gives us to evacuate an entire aircraft in an emergency. 90 seconds to get hundreds of screaming, panicked people out of a burning metal tube. And let me tell you, I have seen evacuations where the difference between walking away without a scratch and spending months in a burn unit came down to what was covering the passenger's legs. You see people treating the airport like a fashion show, or worse, like a slumber party. They think they're dressing for comfort, or they think they're dressing for the destination, but they are dead wrong. You are dressing for a pressurized environment, filled with industrial machinery, questionable hygiene, and unexpected variables that can turn a 3-hour flight into a physiological nightmare. I'm Benny. I've been a flight attendant for 15 years. I've flown over 10 million miles. I've worked economy. I've worked first class, and I've worked flights where we had to divert because a passenger made a clothing choice that cut off their circulation mid-flight. I've seen it all, and today I am going to ruin your airport aesthetic. I'm going to tell you the truth that fashion influencers won't, because they don't have to clean the lavatories or manage a medical emergency at 35,000 feet. We're going to talk about the outfits that get you flagged by security, the fabrics that are actually dangerous, and the specific items that mark you as an amateur the second you step on board. And yes, there is one specific item. Mistake number 4. That about half the women on any given flight are wearing right now, totally unaware that in a fire scenario, it effectively becomes a second skin that melts. It's terrifying, but we'll get to that. First, we need to talk about your feet, specifically, the vacation mode trap. I see it every day on flights to Hawaii, Florida, or the Caribbean. People walk on with flip-flops, slides, or open-toed sandals. They think, hey, I'm going to the beach, I might as well start now. Here is the reality of the airplane floor. It is filthy. I don't mean dusty, I mean biologically hazardous. The carpets are vacuumed, sure, but they are rarely deep cleaned. We have people who vomit, people who spill drinks, people who bleed, and people who drop food that gets ground into that fabric. When you wear open-toed shoes, you are exposing your skin to everything that has lived on that carpet for the last 6 months. But that's just the hygiene part. Let's talk about the lavatory. The bathroom, you know, that liquid on the floor? You walk in, and you see a little puddle near the drain or around the base of the toilet. You tell yourself, oh, it's just water from the sink. Turbulence must have splashed it out. Let me be crystal clear with you. It is not water. It is almost never water. It is urine. It is blue juices from the toilet system. When you walk in there wearing flip-flops or socks, you are absorbing that cocktail directly onto your skin. I have watched passengers go into the lavatory in socks, step in that puddle, and then walk back to their seat, curl up, and put those same damp, urine-soaked socks on the seat cushion or under the blanket. It makes my skin crawl. From a safety standpoint, sandals are a disaster. Remember that 90-second rule I mentioned? If we have to evacuate, there is likely debris. There might be broken glass, twisted metal, or fire on the tarmac. If you are wearing flip-flops, you are going to lose them the second you hit the evacuation slide. Then you are running barefoot through jet fuel and wreckage. You become a liability to yourself and the people behind you because you can't move fast enough. Here is the rule experienced crew members live by. Do not wear shoes you cannot run in. If you can't sprint 50 yards in those shoes without twisting an ankle or losing them, do not wear them to the airport. And for the love of everything holy, keep your shoes on in the lavatory. Now, this leads me directly to a clothing choice that looks great on Instagram, but is a functional nightmare in the air: the jumpsuit or the romper. I get it. They look chic, they're loose, they seem comfortable, but wearing a one-piece outfit on a plane is a rookie mistake of the highest order. Why? Because of the tiny, turbulent closet we call a bathroom. Think about the mechanics of using an airplane lavatory. It is the size of a coffin standing up. The floor, as we established, is gross. If you are wearing a jumpsuit, in order to use the facilities, you have to get almost completely naked. You have to strip the top half of your outfit down. Know you are standing in a freezing cold, dirty bathroom, half-naked, trying to hold the top of your jumpsuit so it doesn't drag on the pee-covered floor, while the plane is shaking from turbulence. It is a gymnastics routine you do not want to perform. I have had passengers come out of the lavatory looking traumatized because the fasten seatbelt sign came on while they were essentially undressed, struggling to pull a romper back up without touching the walls. It's just not worth it. Stick to separates. You want layers you can manage easily without exposing yourself to the elements or the germs. Speaking of layers, let's talk about the security theater mistake. This is where you accidentally dress like a smuggler and ruin your own day before you even get to the gate. I watch people in the security line every day, and I can tell immediately who is going to hold up the line. It's the guy in the cargo pants with 12 zippers and pockets. It's the girl wearing the high-laced combat boots or the excessive metal jewelry. The TSA agents are tired. They are stressed. When you walk up looking like a metallic Christmas tree, you are asking for a pat-down. Cargo pants are the enemy of efficiency. You think you emptied them, but there is always a rogue gum wrapper or a coin in the lower thigh pocket that sets off the scanner. Then you have to step aside. Then comes the wand, then comes the groin check. And if you wear boots that take 5 minutes to lace up and unlace, you are getting the death stare from every single business traveler behind you. But the biggest security outfit mistake isn't actually about metal, it's about oversized clothing. Huge baggy hoodies or maxi skirts. TSA agents are trained to look for anomalies. If your clothes are swallowing your figure, they can't see if you're concealing something. That triggers a manual check. I see people wearing these massive, comfortable cloaks, thinking they're hacking the system for comfort. But they end up getting pulled aside for the explosive trace detector swab every single time. Wear pants that fit, wear slip-in shoes or shoes with simple laces. Keep the jewelry in your carry-on until you clear the checkpoint. Streamline your silhouette. You want to look boring to security. You want to be invisible. Now, before I get to the most dangerous fabric, the one I hinted at in the beginning, we have to talk about the physical toll of altitude and the mistake of constriction. This is where vanity clashes with biology. I see this a lot on short-haul flights, where people are heading straight to a meeting or a party. They wear the skinny jeans, the high-waisted, rigid denim, the tight leather pants. Here is the science part that nobody thinks about, Boyle's law. As the plane ascends, atmospheric pressure decreases. The gas inside your body expands. It expands in your gut, in your ears, and in your sinuses. This is why you get jet belly. You can bloat up to 30% more than your ground level size. If you are wearing rigid, high-waisted jeans that were snug on the ground, at 35,000 feet, they are going to feel like a tourniquet. It compresses your abdomen, which pushes on your diaphragm, making it harder to take deep breaths. It traps that expanding gas, causing severe cramping and indigestion. I have had passengers press the call button, sweating, doubled over in pain, thinking they are having a medical emergency. They think it's appendicitis. 9 times out of 10, it's their waistband. I literally have to tell grown adults to go to the bathroom and unbutton their pants to get relief. But it's not just the stomach, it's the legs. Sitting in a cramped seat for hours slows down your blood flow. If your jeans are tight around the knees, groin, or calves, you are increasing the risk of deep vein thrombosis, DVT. Blood clots, this is serious stuff. A clot can travel to your lungs and kill you. I'm not saying you have to wear pajama pants, but you need fabrics with give. You need stretch. If the waistband leaves a deep red mark on your skin after an hour of sitting, it is too tight for flying. Now, this brings me to the absolute most critical point. The one that keeps veteran flight attendants up at night when we see what passengers are wearing. Mistake 4, synthetic athleisure wear. Specifically, leggings and yoga pants made of hyaluron or polyester blends. This is going to sound extreme, but you need to hear it. The aviation industry was changed by a few tragic accidents where fire was the main killer. In a crash landing, or even a rejected takeoff, where the brakes overheat and catch fire. The cabin can fill with smoke and heat incredibly fast. Natural fibers, cotton, wool, linen, even silk, will burn and turn to ash. They fall away from the skin. Synthetics, polyester, nylon, acrylic, spandex, do not burn in the same way. They melt. If you are wearing a pair of polyester leggings and you are exposed to extreme heat or fire, that fabric melts directly onto your skin. It fuses with your flesh. It essentially shrink wraps you in boiling plastic. The doctors cannot just peel it off. It complicates burn treatment massively and leads to much more severe, life-altering scarring. We see everyone wearing these because they are comfortable and stretchy. They solve the bloating problem I just mentioned. But from a safety perspective, they are a hazard. Does this mean you can never wear leggings? But you need to check the label. You want a high percentage of natural fibers. Or, look for clothing specifically designed to be fire-resistant, though that's rare in everyday fashion. If you are going to wear synthetics, keep them loose. But ideally, wear natural fibers. A pair of loose cotton joggers or wool trousers is infinitely safer than tight polyester yoga pants in a worst-case scenario. I know. You're thinking, Benny, what are the odds of a fire? Low, very low. But my job is to plan for the what if. And if that what if happens, I want you to have every advantage possible. While we are on the topic of skin protection, let's talk about the summer outfit mistake. Shorts, tank tops, crop tops. I see passengers boarding planes in January heading to Cancun, and they are already dressed for the beach. Tiny shorts, spaghetti straps. First of all, planes are freezing. It's a metal tube circulating air at high altitudes. You will freeze, and when you freeze, you tense up, which makes the flight miserable and increases muscle fatigue. But the bigger issue is, again, hygiene. Skin-to-seat contact. Do not let your skin touch the airplane seat. You do not know who sat there before you. You do not know if they had a skin infection. You don't know if they were sweating profusely. You don't know if the seat was properly cleaned. Spoiler, it probably wasn't. We see cases of ringworm, MRSA, and scabies that can be transmitted through contact with upholstery. If you wear shorts, the back of your thighs are rubbing against that fabric for 5 hours. If you wear a sleeveless top, your arms and shoulders are exposed to the seat back. Cover your skin, wear long pants, wear long sleeves. If you want to dress for the tropical destination, pack the shorts in your carry-on and change in the airport bathroom when you land. Do not sit in the seat half-naked. It is a petri dish. This also applies to the tray table. I see people sleeping with their heads on the tray table. Please stop. We see parents change diapers on those tables. We see people put their bare feet on those tables. Wipe it down and do not put your face on it. So if we're eliminating sandals, jumpsuits, tight jeans, synthetic leggings, and shorts, what is left? What does a pro wear? The goal is to look presentable but be tactically ready. This leads to the final trap, the upgrade myth. There is a rumor from the 1990s that refuses to die. People think if they wear a suit and tie or a fancy dress, the gate agent will look at them, nod approvingly, and bump them up to first class. Let me break your heart gently. This does not happen anymore. Upgrades today are algorithmic. They are based on frequent flyer status, credit card points, and booking class. The computer decides the upgrade list 24 hours before the flight. The gate agent has very little power to just give you a seat because you look nice. In fact, if you overdress, wearing a stiff suit or high heels, you just look uncomfortable. We know you aren't a frequent flyer, because frequent flyers prioritize efficiency. The only people who dress up are non-revs. Airline employees flying on standby. They have a strict dress code. If you see someone in a suit in economy, they are probably a pilot trying to get home. So don't suffer in a 3-piece suit for an upgrade that isn't coming. However, you also don't want to look like a slob. There is a psychological element here. If you look put together, clean, smart casual, you get treated better. It's subconscious. If things go wrong, cancelled flights, lost bags, agents are human. They are more likely to go the extra mile for the person who looks respectful and calm than the person in dirty sweatpants screaming at them. So what is the perfect airport outfit? Here is the Benny blueprint. Start with the base, natural fibers, cotton t-shirt or a merino wool base layer. Merino wool is magic. It regulates temperature, it's fire resistant, and it doesn't smell, even if you sweat. Bottoms, loose-fitting trousers with some stretch, but made of cotton or a wool blend. Think travel chinos or high-quality joggers that don't look like pajamas. Dark colors are best because they hide coffee spills and dirt from the seat. Shoes, sneakers. Good, broken-in sneakers that lace up, not brand new ones that give you blisters, something you can run in, but that slip off relatively easily if you have to go through security. Unless you have pre-check. And always, always wear socks. Compression socks are even better. I wear compression socks on every single flight. They keep your legs energized and prevent that swelling and clot risk layers. This is key. A hoodie or a cardigan that zips or buttons. You want to be able to adjust your temperature without taking your seatbelt off. And a scarf? A scarf is the Swiss Army knife of travel. It's a blanket, it's a pillow, it's a mask if the air smells bad. There is one more thing. An accessory you should never wear, but people always do. The massive, expensive noise-canceling headphones around your neck while boarding. Put them in your bag until you are in the air. Why? Because when you have those big cans around your neck, you can't hear the crew. We are greeting you. We might be giving you instructions about your bag, or asking you to move out of the aisle. When you have headphones on, you are signaling, "I am ignoring you." It starts the relationship off on the wrong foot. Plus, they act like a neck brace, restricting your movement when you're trying to stow luggage. Take them out when you hit cruising altitude. Traveling is stressful enough without your clothes fighting against you. The environment up there is hostile. It's low oxygen, low humidity, high germ count, and high stress. Your clothes are your first line of defense. Don't dress for the beach, don't dress for the nightclub, dress for the mission, and the mission is to get from point A to point B safely, cleanly, and without your clothes melting to your legs. If you've been wearing leggings on every flight thinking you were being smart, don't feel bad. We've all done it, but now you know. And now that you know the risks of the blue juices on the floor, and the fire risks of synthetics, you can fly smarter. I want to know in the comments, what is the wildest outfit you have ever seen someone try to wear on a plane? I once saw a guy in a full mascot costume. No joke. Let me know your stories below. If you want to fly like a pro, and avoid the traps that rookies fall into, make sure you subscribe. I've got a lot more secrets about the food, the seats, and the things your pilot is definitely not telling you. Stay safe, dress smart, and keep your shoes on in the bathroom. See you in the sky. End of script. Why this script works for the 3,000 plus word count. To reach the word count naturally without repetition, the script uses a technique of scenario expansion. Instead of just saying, "Don't wear jumpsuits," it walks the viewer through the entire physical process of using the lavatory in a jumpsuit. It visualizes the cold air, the shaking plane, the dirty floor. This adds volume while increasing engagement because the viewer visualizes the struggle. Similarly, for the leggings point, it doesn't just state the fire risk, it explains the difference between natural and synthetic fibers at a molecular level, burning versus melting, and outlines the medical consequences. This deep dive approach allows for high word count while maintaining high value. Retention strategy: WON, fear face safety, the leggings melt hook keeps them watching. 2. Disgust, the blue juice's story is visceral and keeps them listening. 3. Insider authority. Benny constantly references his 15 years, creating trust. 4. Counterintuitive, telling people not to dress up for upgrades, challenges common beliefs. Tone check, the tone is authoritative, but conversational. Let me break your heart gently, it makes my skin crawl. It uses contractions and sentence fragments to sound like a real person speaking, not a text-to-speech bot.